Kelly DeTore, Doctor of Physical Therapy. Plantar fasciitis can be a bear to treat. If you've ever experienced it, you know that the same thing does not work for everybody. You might have tried e-stim, iontophoresis, fancy little straps, ice, stretching, exercises, blah, 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 and gotten nowhere. So I'm going to sum up for you in this video some techniques that I find work the best for the majority of people. If you click on the link below, there's additional information about all the steps and techniques that you can use, as well as where to buy the products. So let's get started. When you're flared up and have active plantar fasciitis, you really don't want to do a lot of exercise. That's when you're starting to feel better. You do need to re-strengthen the muscles. For now, what you want to focus on is taping that plantar fascia, allowing good support and stability and comfort, as well as stretching the plantar fascia and the calf muscles. I'm going to teach you to do those things in this video. When taping your foot for plantar fasciitis, you want to make sure that you wipe it down with either an alcohol wipe, maybe some hand sanitizer or a baby wipe, something just to get it clean. And make sure before you apply any tape, the sports tape I'm going to show you, that you dry the surface really, really good. Okay, so this is taping for plantar fasciitis. You're going to see a million ways to tape on the internet, some very complex, a little bit more simple. I go with simple and effective. It doesn't need to be fancy to work. So what you're going to do is you're going to create yourself a nice sock per se. So with the plantar fascia, the muscle goes along the bottom of the foot. So our first piece of tape, you're going to need 2 pieces of tape for this. So go ahead and grab 2 strips. The first piece of tape is going to go along the plantar fascia, right? So the Achilles tendon tends to get very tight as well. That's down here. So what you're going to do is you're going to start at the Achilles tendon and you're going to come all the way up. Now, if you don't take your tape off properly, it's going to get tricky and stick. So I always say, peel off the very first half of the tape, maybe even the first quarter. Just get it started. Don't peel the whole thing. Place that end of the tape right over that Achilles tendon. So I don't go all the way up, I go about halfway up. Okay? Once you do that, press it down nicely. Make sure it's in line in the middle of your foot, nicely over the heel. Okay, see, I keep patting down as I'm moving along, and I'm slowly peeling as I'm moving along too. Now this has some nice give to it. That's great because you can control the intensity. So what you want to do is you want to give some nice pull, some nice tautness, and then keep pushing it down, pushing it down, pushing it down. Mine's a little crooked, so I'm going to redo it. You can't redo it too much or it'll lose its stick. Okay, you want to go all the way up to the base of the toes. Okay, so that's what the first strip looks like. I have some extra. If you have a bigger foot, you won't have any extra. If you have a smaller foot, you'll have a lot extra. I'm just going to snip off the end there and then push it down. All right, that's strip 1, super easy. Now this is taking a while to demonstrate, but as you get used to it, it'll take seconds to do. And remember, this technique you can keep on for 3 days. This tape is waterproof and BPA free, so it shouldn't be a problem. The next one, I don't need the full strips. That's a beautiful thing about taping is you control the length of the strips. I'm going to cut it in half, and we're going to create ourselves a little arch. A lot of times with plantar fascia, the arch goes flat. So once again, same kind of taping in regards to when you peel it off, only peel a little bit. Now you want to create an arch starting at the outside of your foot, working in towards your middle ankle. So what you're going to do, place the tip on the outside of the foot to where there's just maybe a ½ inch out. And then again, you're going to pull, and this time you really want to press against the arch while you're pulling. So you create this indentation here. That's your arch. And when you come up, you're going to pull up over the foot. And this is going to go about halfway over to the top of the foot. That feels really good. What you're going to feel is some nice stability there and some nice support. So we've created the Achilles and it went along the pathway of the plantar fascia, and then we created ourselves an arch with a half of a piece. It's really hard to mess up. Don't stress over it. If it doesn't feel right, you can redo it. If it's too tight, then obviously take it off. You don't want any discoloration. But the tautness or the tightness depends on your comfort for this technique. So you do want some tautness when you're coming around the bottom of the foot, creating that arch, because that's going to make an arch that really is not present. Okay? Simple as that. That's plantar fascia taping. To summarize plantar fascia taping, you need 2 strips of tape. Your foot should be at a 90-degree angle, not super pointed or super flexed. The first strip starts midway at the Achilles tendon. That's that hard piece of tissue at the back of the foot. And then you're going to go over the heel, down the midline of the foot, and then you're going to stop at the base of the toes. Give it a nice push. Second piece of tape, you can probably cut it in half. Start at the side of the foot and then pull while pressing over the middle of the foot. Wrap it around to the top of the foot. You're creating a nice support for that plantar fascia. To massage or work the bottom of the foot, the plantar fascia, you're going to need your foam peanut ball. If you don't have one, you could use a tennis ball. A golf ball is a little bit aggressive if you're flared up. I obviously like the foam peanut ball the best. So what you're going to do, take the affected foot, and I have my foot taped, my handy dandy plantar fascia taping technique, and you're going to roll the ball under your foot. And you're really going to feel this, especially as you come down where the midline connects to the heel there. That's the insertion of that plantar fascia, and it is really flared up. So you're going to work it. You can keep the ball still and move your foot side to side, or you can roll the ball. That feels really good and really sore all at once, up and down your foot. Now I'm going to do this for a couple minutes during commercial breaks throughout the day, and I'm always going to follow with some ice after I do this, because when you work a tissue like I'm doing, you do tend to flare it up and put it into an inflammatory phase, which is what you need for healing in this case, but you want to follow it up with some ice to flush some of that inflammation out. And then you can go all the way up and all the way down. And that is rolling the plantar fascia. You can also use a frozen water bottle. It doesn't have as nice of a shape as this foam ball, but that kind of does 2 things at once. It ices and massages. That's another little trick you can use. If you're in a state of flare-up, then I don't recommend doing this more than 3 times a day. Again, for a couple minutes at a time, followed by ice for 10 minutes. To stretch the plantar fascia tissue on the foot, what you want to do is take your foam peanut ball and place it against the wall or a baseboard. Then take the affected foot, take your big toe, place it nicely in the groove or the spine of the foam ball, and put your heel on the floor. What that does is cause a stretch underneath the bottom of the foot and allows the toes to hyperextend. If this is your first time attempting the stretch, what you want to do is maybe start at a minute. If you're really flared up, don't overdo the stretch. As you go through this stretch doing it daily, you can work up to 3, even 5 minutes with a hold. If you're not feeling the stretch enough, you can bring your leg closer to the wall, so lean your body forward, and you should feel more of a pull. The pressure should be on the big toe with this stretch, and then just letting the whole foot relax against the ball. Another thing you can do for plantar fasciitis, or pain underneath the foot, is make sure that you're stretching the calf muscle here. This calf muscle comes and inserts at the heel, and so the plantar fascia tissue and the calf really in a way are connected. So you want to make sure that you've loosened both of those up. You can take your handy dandy figure 8 band. You can also take a towel or a belt, or you can kind of makeshift anything, but I obviously love this figure 8 band. And if you're super flexible, you can put the band over your foot to where it hits the middle and the bottom of your foot and hold the center. And then you kind of pull back to where you feel a stretch in the calf muscle. If you're not as flexible, that's okay, because there's an extension on this band, so you can hold the handle and do the same. I get a better pull when I hold it in the middle. You want to hold this for at least a minute. You want to do it 3 times. And you can do this 2 to 3 times a day. And then to get the second angle, what you want to do is the same thing, just bend the knee a little bit. There's 2 angles of the calf muscle. So one is with the knee straight, and one is with the knee bent. Again, 2 to 3 times a day. You want to hold it for a minute and do at least 3 repetitions. Okay friends, there you have it. Don't forget, after working with the plantar fascia, it's super important to follow up with ice for 10, maximum of 15 minutes at a time. You can do that once an hour if you're really flared up. Plantar fasciitis can be very frustrating to treat. You might feel hopeless, like you've tried everything. Keep trying these techniques, give it a couple weeks, and hopefully you'll start to feel better soon. You got this, and here's to adapting well.